This was so cool. Her oldest scored his first basket of the season. Like, he made this awesome play and got a basket for his team. Like, it was the first one he's ever gotten, and we all freaked out. In fact, like, the whole gym erupted in just absolute delight and screaming and yelling, and just the look on his face after he made it. He was so proud of himself. And I felt so honored to get to be there for that moment. It's just, I don't get to be in their lives very much because they live so far away, and that's really hard for me. I love those boys so much, and I love being their auntie, and they just bring me so much joy. And so to get to be there for that special moment was the fucking coolest thing ever. So shout out to my nephew for his awesomeness. Anyways, that was really cool. It was a really good trip. It was just one of those, like, you drive all day and then you're exhausted and you crash, and then you have a couple days to, like, visit and try to get in all the time that you can, and the snuggles and the love and the kisses and the hugs, and then you have a long drive home. And so we got back home, and my girls got this sore throat, and so they've been sick for a couple days, and they had a fever last night. And so I've been a little under the weather, but, like, I haven't had anything terrible. I think most of mine is just exhaustion. Sorry, I can't even talk right. Most of mine is just exhaustion. So I slept in the past couple days. It's been really nice, and I'm just slowly kind of getting back into the routine. But I was really grateful for the trip. And thank you guys for being patient for this podcast. Yeah. So I was thinking, one thing I would love to do for this podcast is to actually train Zelle during my podcast. And I'm not sure if I can pull it off, but I think I'd like to try. I think it would be fun, at least for just, one or two of the podcast, one of the two of the episodes, just for you guys to get, like, a picture into some of the training I do. And I love to talk as I'm working with horses and kind of explain what I'm doing, because I feel like it is so relevant to our experience as humans. And I know it helps me grow. And it helps me understand how to be a better person. So I thought that would be a fun episode to train Zelle. And I was going to try it today, but of course it's raining. So maybe next week. I just think it'd be fun to train Zelle. And, I don't know. Just let you guys watch that and experience that with me. We'll see. We'll see if I can pull that off. So I talked about, not this last episode, but I think either the one before it or before that one, I don't remember exactly, but that I was round penning Zelle, and that she was just kicking up and bucking and kicking, and I had to work with her for a while, and she got really sweaty and tired. And anyways, I've really been contemplating her as a horse, and here's the thing that I want to talk a little bit about Zelle today. When I bought her, okay, so I've had her for 2 years. This April, I think. When I bought her, she was not quite 3. She was almost 3 years old. But she had been taken to a 30-day trainer. And so the people I bought her from was a really old couple that raises Kentucky mountain horses. So she's a registered Kentucky mountain horse. She's a beautiful, beautiful, tall, chocolate horse. But they have this trainer that they pay to put on 30 days of training, and then they sell their, young horses. And they're breeders, but they don't do the training. So anyways, the thing about a 30-day training, that's very common and probably popular in this area especially, seems to be, take your horse to a 30-day trainer, or maybe for like a 30-day refresher. But here's the thing with 30 days. It's not a lot of time. So basically, it's like taking your child that doesn't know how to read yet, and throwing. It would be like throwing your child that can't read and has just learned to walk and can talk probably, but you go put it in this school for 30 days, and at the end of those 30 days, it's supposed to know everything it needs to know for the rest of its life. You know, and it doesn't work that way. It's way too fast. Of course, people do it because you can do that to a horse, and you can, in 30 days, you can get them from never being ridden to riding. In fact, you can do that in a day. I've seen trainers do it in a matter of hours. But the trainers that I have seen take a horse that's never been ridden and ride them in a matter of hours, they are just introducing the concept. They aren't training a horse to walk, trot, canter, change directions, go over obstacles, do all these different things. It's just like this introductory lesson. But the 30-day thing is like, people don't want to put the time and money into horses because it's expensive and it takes a long time and it takes a lot of money. So they wanted this really, quick fix, like take it to a 30-day trainer, have them just like, it's like information by fire hose, right, to the horse's brain. Just so the horse goes from never being ridden to suddenly now it's being ridden for hours every day. And it's being exposed to all of these different things, and it's being expected to learn at a very fast pace a lot of things. And so when I went to meet Zelle, they showed off how they could get on a mounting block, and she came over so that you could get on her back, and you could walk, trot, and canter her. Of course, she's a gaited horse, so she would gait. And they had this big indoor arena, and they rode her through over all these obstacles, like a bridge, a tarp, a bouncy ball. And then the trainer, it was a lady and a guy, they kind of teamed up together, but the lady was riding her. She pulled out this stock whip, started cracking it above Zelle's head while she was on her back, and just showing all this stuff, like, she's bomb-proof, you can ride her over anything, she'll do anything. And to be honest, I was impressed. I was like, wow. Like, that is a lot for a young horse. But the thing that I noticed, I noticed at first with the mounting thing, I was like, wow, that's impressive. But I saw the look on Zelle's face. And Zelle looked terrified, like she rushed over for the person to get on her back as fast as she could and as close to the mounting block as she could. She was almost on top of the mounting block. And so I watched this and I thought, she looked as if she did everything really as well as she could, but really fast. And with these big eyes, like she was afraid she was going to be in trouble if she didn't. And so when I rode her, like, she did all the things, and I even let my kids ride her and my husband ride her, and we were all impressed. But I noticed that she reacted how she was taught to react. But there were this look in her eye that looked terrified. And, I honestly, at the time, I felt pressured to get more horses really quick because Princeton had died, then a year after that, Shiloh died. And so I was, at the time of my life when I purchased Zelenka, I was feeling rushed to get more horses and get them trained so that I could use them for my riding program. Because at the time, I still had LOL Haven, and I was a therapeutic riding instructor, and that was my business. So I thought, here's a horse that's already trained, and I won't have to put a ton of time into her. And so that was kind of the selling point for me. But as I was talking to Nate and the kids, after we all had ridden Zelle, we were standing there, and I was just holding Zelle on the lead rope, and she just walked over really close to me and put her nose up against my arm and just kept it there and just took a breath out and closed her eyes and relaxed. And she kept her nostril on me. And I looked at her eyes, and they were really soft. And it was the first time I had seen her really just soften and relax. And I swear I felt like she said, please don't leave me. Please take me with you. And I am just a sucker for animals, for one. For two, I was like, oh my God, she is so sweet. I can't leave her. Like, I have to take her home. And the people had told me there was another buyer that was coming to look at her after we were looking at her. And so we weren't, we knew that if we didn't purchase her right then, that she was going to be probably snatched up by somebody else. Hold on, I have to cough. Trying to cough away from the microphone. Anyways, so she was this beautiful registered horse that could do a lot of different things, and we knew that the buyers after us would just snatch her up. So we all kind of looked at each other and were like, we gotta get her. We gotta buy her. So we did, and it was a crazy day because it was a 3.5 hour drive to go look at her. And we didn't take the trailer because we didn't want to feel pressured into buying her. But then we got pressured into buying her. So then we paid them the money and we drove home in our van, got our truck and trailer and drove back and got her and then brought her back home. So by the time we got her back home, it was like, I don't know, 1:30 in the morning or something. It was crazy. So we spent like 12 hours on the road that day from going back and forth. Anyways,